Good morning, good evening. Thank you for listening. This is a medical show, and I respect the law, and I hope you do too. The content today is for scientific and educational purposes. The papers discussed and any websites that have been gone through will be put in the description below for you to peruse later. If you're rewatching this, there's been no topic yet. The topic hasn't been decided, so you probably want to fast forward 5 or 10 minutes odd, and then also maybe look down for the slides, go through the bottom of the screen bit where you can take the slide bar across and see if there's, when the screen changes, there's also another good indication on when the show might be started. And if it's only gone for 10 minutes odd, it's been a short show, because I put these on for the viewers. So viewers come in with questions, and then I'll try and show my university slides and have some discussion on the topic. So I'll wait till, give it till 2 minutes, another minute odd, and then I'll start and say g'day to folk like Wrapped Up. G'day, Wrapped Up. Bro, there you go, mate. So in another 20 seconds, I'll be discussing something to do with plant science, soil science, and microbiology. So if you've heard of anything, even myths and stuff, is very fun to go through, because there's so many uneducated folk that talk about topics that could be explained better. So that's where I come in and show some slides and stuff. I got thousands of slides in the playlist. Hello, bro, Joe's 420 Cafe. How you going, mate? Hello, Wrapped Up. Sorry, Lene. Nice to see you, Lene. Hola. Raptor says, fumigation, detrimental fungi using mustard as a cover crop. Fumigation, detrimental fungi using them. I don't know what that means. It sounds interesting. If you use mustard as a cover crop, mustard is a lot of microbes they react to that. It's like onion and or a bit of garlic, and what's the other bio-pesticides that you can use? Those types. So it acts as one of those. But fumigation, detrimental to fungi. Fumigate, well, fumigation can be detrimental fungi. Explain that a bit, mate. It sounds interesting, though. Brojos, yes, welcome. Yeah, I've got a little star thing. I remember, Brojos, you're from England or from the States? Either one. Oh, Raptor says, a bit of clarification on that. Is fumigation of the soil from detrimental fumigation of the soil. Have a look at that, Raptor. It's a little bit weird, the writing. Brojo says this, USA. No worries. That's good. Hope you're doing well in your area. Fumigation of the soil. Well, if you fumigate, yeah, you're going to wreck the fungi. Most of the time when you fumigate, though, everything, all the good stuff goes first. It's a bit of a nuisance. You came by my channel a couple of times. Yeah, that's why you're familiar. I remember discussing some stuff with you. Do you have anything you've heard Any myths or anything like that, mate, that's interesting? Because I remember we were discussing some topics like that, where there's some weird stuff said, and I enlightened the subject. It was made for some good conversation. Yeah, Raptor, can you add a little bit more on your fungi thing, mate? Like, what happens in this situation? Because it'd be good to go through that. Because that's organics, because I'm organic plant scientist, so I've really loved touching on the organic topics to do with the bacteria and fungi and what kills them and keeps them alive and how they interact and that sort of stuff. That's fascinating. So yeah, fumigation of the soil. Must have had some bad stuff to try and fumigate it. That's what I was doing. So remember, Bro Joe's, I'll give you a little moderated thing there. Standard. Yep. There you go, so you blend in like everyone else. That was a little goal button. I'm just having a look. Pick a goal, 10 super chats. Set a timer. Wow. Raptors shared a link. So let's have a look and see what this is. Using high glucosinolate mustard as a cover crop to reduce weeds and disease. Ah, very nice, yes. All right, let's share that and we'll go through it. Present share screen. Thank you, Raptor. That looks interesting, mate. I should get rid of that. I can't get this, I did good. Using high, so this is from the University of Vermont. So the benefits of growing cover crops. Yes, okay. Well, in brief, cover crops are things that protect the soil. So instead of having space where you have to put some sort of mulch down, you can grow a cover crop to do the similar thing. So by using beneficial ones, like those ones that make you bio-pesticides, like mustard, and onion, and garlic, and all those other ones, rosemary, those things fight bacteria and fungi. So what's this say? Oh, cool. A glucosinolate molecule breaking down to cyanate, aided by enzyme. Okay. So as it goes through this process is very good. What is high? Mustard has been bred to contain elevated levels of this molecule throughout the whole plant. And at high concentrations, it's a general biocide, behaves like commercial pesticides. Uh-oh. Is that good? Does it knock out everything? Mustard, such guys are bright, and fungal pathogens. Okay, so it seems like it's just going to attack like it's a entomopathogenic fungi, but this is a plant-mopathogenic fungi, where it only attacks the bad things. It's ability of biofuel, you can use it for other stuff. Weed suppression. Well, generally, greater biomass of mustard will provide greater weed control. Plant residues containing glucosinolates, that molecule, have been shown to prevent germination of a lot of weeds. So it's also a herbicide. This is pretty interesting, Raptor. Oh, here we go. It also does something to insects. The studies have shown the efficiency of glucosinate mustard at reducing wireworms, fruit flies, house flies, and other insects. Wow. And it suppresses disease too. And cover crops has been shown to be effective by preventing variable vegetable diseases. Fusarium, really? Fusarium? Pythium? White mold? What's happened to all that? In a trial at the University of Maine, was drilled at 11 pounds per acre, followed by planting potato, that showed a 52% lower incidence rates. This is pretty interesting. This is one you asked a while ago about cover crops, I remember. And this is the reason why. Because you found a really U-Butte cover crop. It seems like but it's only, this is said they've GMO'd it to make it have high glucosilites. What's that new word that I just learned? Glucosinolate. So it's got high levels of that in it. So if I was to go and source one, mine potentially wouldn't have a high level in it. So there must be a strain number that they've probably patented. So that would be good to look out for that strain number. Actually, let's go keep reading. Planting date. Oh, here we go. There's the strain numbers. 61, 119, 119, 199. So you want to get the 61 or the 119. Try and source that through the university and get some and put it to seed, please, Raptor. And I'll be extremely interested in that. Because, mate, this is a winner for everybody who grows, who has anything growing in their yards, anybody who doesn't live in buildings and things like that. This is a winner. Terminating the crop. Terminate the mustard after flowering. See, that's just like normal. That'd be additional considerations. While mustard has the ability to reduce disease, weed, and insect pest pressure, biofumigation should not be considered a single solution to the management issue. Biofumigation should not be considered. Okay, what was the issue to start with? Mustard and biofumigation for cover cropping should be used as part of an integrative approach to maintaining healthy crops, especially considering that biofumigation efficiently will decrease the seasons continued. I missed a fair bit out. Where are they talking about biofumigation? Have you gone through some of these down here, Raptor, as well? These would be pretty cool to read, some of these articles that they put out. Because a lot of these have contacts and emails if you go to the studies, and you can contact the people in the studies and speak to them, and they can hook you up with, for instance, this cover crop, which is rad. Sources, cost of the seed can range from $4 to $17 a pound, and is generally $5 a pound. Seed will be sourced from, there's heaps of places you can get it from. Vermont. This is not an exhaustive list and not meant to be an endorsement of individual companies. Who was this study? Oh, this isn't a study, this is a brochure. So it'd be good to go through these studies down here and seeing, because this must be someone from the crop who's written it, published by the university. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry, I was wrong. Crop soil. That'd be a good extension to go to. Raptor as well. See what they got there. That's really cool. I'll be saving that one as, something to source. And I'm going to read that whole thing later on. And I think it's worthwhile if anybody's into organics. This is something that they should be reading as well. I'll put the link in the description for you to get this PDF. It does a lot. It's fantastic. Like all right, where's one thing? Fusarium or Pythium. So we might go and put in a round of Pseudomonas fluorescens to try and combat that. That's going to cost money. Or, so that's going to combat one thing, maybe two, and this one cover crop is going to do heaps more than that. That's pretty interesting. And what's this? Indian meal and brown mustard at that concentration were also able to completely inhibit. Anyway, that's really fantastic. I'm going to go back and see what's been said. Thank you for that. It's probably been a lot said. Thank you. Yep, been reading up on the study. I need to do further research. I've just put another. Oh yeah, that was one of the links I saw that was in there. One of those. It says Raptor says found a cover crop in the US, but I have not tried them for this crop. Raptor says mustard seed meal can be used to similar effect and it's a fertilizer. Right. I'd be, if it was me. Oh, let's check out this link because that last link that he provided was pretty cool. I'd be sourcing that, mate, and putting that to test because you're heavily into your organics too. Where is it? Where's that link? I'll check it out first, make sure it's good. Yeah, let's check this one out. Let's see what he's shared here. Is it sharing? No. Need to press the little extra bit button. Now I'm sharing. So this site, oh, it's just got mustard as a cover crop. Oh, I should have really checked it out. Okay, it's a couple of different examples. Yellow and mighty mustard. Okay. It's quite a high crop though, isn't it? By the look at that. I pictured it growing, about ankle high. That looks like it's knee to waist high. Might be good to grow as a rotational crop too, or grow strips of it. Just grow one strip and then your other fruit and vegetables, and then other strips. Use it as trap crops. It's called where things get trapped there. Actually, it might be good as a strip. So you could go and plant, say, 5 or 10 rows, then put one row of this. That's one source that there was some while I'm still sharing. There was some sources down here where you can get it. So if you're in the States and you're interested in these types of things and don't want to go anywhere, I'll just highlight the sections. There's the companies there. No. Seeds may be sourced from 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like they're in Vermont. Look on those websites and see, like, that was that one that we just looked at. That was the Johnny one. So I recognise that. That was those ones. All right, what do they charge for it while we're here? And which one was it? Which one was the specific rad one? High glucose. Which one was the high? What was the cultivar of that? HGM planting. They just call it HGM. So which one is the HGM here? For those playing at home, fast-growing control of nematodes and soil fungi, fast-growing weed suppression and pest control. Well, from that study, it said they did both. So now I'm confused. Mighty mustard or yellow mustard? Mighty sounds a lot more tougher. It's relatively cheap. That's all you need. That's a brassica. So you'd have to consider the flowering times when you're going to put it out. That's pretty interesting. So it might also fix nitrogen. Oh no, it wouldn't. It's not a legume. You'd have to add your bonuses to the brassicas to get it to do that. All right, stop sharing, I think. So I really like that. I need to some further research. I can grab some. I'd be trying to grab the ones that was in the study though. So I'd be contacting the people and asking for the HGM version, whatever that is, and seeing, because they mightn't have that. And then you can name the cultivar, the strain name from that study that was like the 119. And you can say this is, or even send them a screenshot of it, because that's what I'd be sourcing. Because those other ones haven't been genetically modified, or they haven't done marker-assisted breeding and selection to pick out the ones with that high glucosinates molecule in it, which is the thing that was the root of everything. So just normal mustard is just normally good, but to get the bonus effects, I'd be sourcing that one, the HGM. HGM, yeah. Raptor says, I will be buying 1 pound, and that's around 180,000 seeds. Yeah, the mustard seed's tiny. I think it's like sesame seeds, they're miniature. And really make sure you get the HGM. Ask for the HGM. Make sure it is of that. That's definitely a must, Raptor. Because a lot of people will sell you whatever they got in stock to push the sales through, but you're into science, so, and you sharing these types of things, you know, is very, you want to be accurate with what you're testing. So that's just my opinion. That's what I'd be doing. Sending a few emails out and saying, well, all these sources, this pamphlet said that you source it. Can you get it? Mustard seed meal can be used tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Raptor says, got to be careful with the type. Yes, definitely. It's just like getting a normal one, or going, you get the GMO, or the one that's been produced to do a specific task. It's well and truly worth the money, even if you've got to pay a bit more at the start, because you can make seeds. You can keep yours going. Yeah. The cover crops are rad. Because you need a mulch or you need a cover crop. Something will be taking over the space of area which isn't being grown on. Even when there's a canopy that comes across, and if there is tiny bits of sunlight that go through, things will still start, weeds generally, will still start to germinate. Actually, there is a bio-herbicide I found. What's right to say? Regular mustard seeds for food can be detrimental to plants. It has different compounds. So that's some good information. So you can't just go and get the regular ones and think that you plant them and you're going to get the result. You have to source out the HGM ones. I'll just share, because I found this is interesting also, the herbicide microbe. Let me just pull that up. It's something I'd like to play around with. I don't share my secrets much, but this is one of them. Just so much about it. Let me show you this one. Let me go. Hang on. Too many buttons to press. There we are. Present share. So there's a bioherbicide you can get. It's a fungus, I think, not a bacteria. Colectotrichum gliosporoides is a beneficial fungus that's used to control weeds. This fungus reproduce themselves and linger in the soil to hinder the regrowth of weeds and produce toxic enzymes that distracts the cell wall of the target weeds, resulting to mortality. Isn't that awesome? So for people who are into organics, this is something that you want to consider. It's something that I definitely, oh, there we go. That's heaps better. Benefits. Selective herbicide is safe for all crops, no adverse effects for humans or the environment, and it provides a long-term solution to weeds. That's the thing about the organics. You're looking for long-term, minimal input, minimal money, minimal effort. So by doing all this stuff at the start, you can go and get that. So this is one that definitely interests me. So if you don't want to use mulches, you can use your plastic mulch or your organic mulch, and you can use cover crops, or you can use something like this as well that will just help with bad weeds. So it targets weeds resulting to mortality. So I haven't put it to test, but it says here it targets round leaf, mallow, broad leaves, grasses, and sedges. So I'm not sure if that's going to knock nearly like everything out and what's it going to be left. But yeah, I'm still yet to play around with it. And this is something that interests me. I like the bio stuff, the bio-herbicides, bio-pesticides, bio-fertilizer. Those types of things are good for sustainability and good. Once you get them in your substrates, it's forever. So people will be wondering, how do they do so well? How does it lemon? Yeah, it's a lot of hard work at the start. You can see you've got to source the right thing, the actual right products, the right names of things, the HGM version of the mustard, to get it all happening. Once it's established, yay, you're a winner. Bob Winner Boxing. So how else can we elaborate on this subject? Because I really like that one. Been half an hour. Okay, that's not too bad. At least there's a title today. Thank you very much for that. So that mustard seed that's GM only produced high amounts of glucosinate, aided by the enzyme, just reading again, myrosinase. So those two work together. So how do you know if the new one that you're getting has those signaling pathway to get the end result that you want? You get the right one, the HGM mustard. Right, it says, I was curious if you heard of mustard before. Yeah, I've heard of mustard, but not the HGM version of it. Because in my organic classes, they go through, all right, I'll show you. We think he might be fibbing. Well, let's just have a look. See what he's on about. Study organic farming. I remember there's quite a few in there. No, better one, this one. It's a lot better. I tried your problem opening these last week. Open. Oh, it opens well this time. This isn't organic farming, is it? He's not the teacher of that, I don't think. All right, let's get to the bios. Mustard, it was in, right, it's coming up. Cover crops. They suggest here some cover crops like Sudan grass, rapeseed, and mustard. There you go, Raptor. And trap crops that I mentioned before that trap the animals before they go. Trap crops must be destroyed to kill the pests that you have been attracted to them. Marigolds are in the corners as well. I think there was some more on mustard too. In the bio pheromone traps. What's that say? Oh no. Bio-pesticides. Here we go. It'll be in here. So some plants contain components that are toxic to insects, like that glucosinate, where these plants extracts applied to infested crops are called botanical bio-pesticides. Rotenone, that's the smell that's for flies, that attracts flies that the skunkweed plant puts out. So if you want to get that, you can go to that skunkweed. Most botanical pesticides are contact, respiratory, or stomach poisons. Therefore, they are not very selective, but target a broad range of insects. Yes, that's the thing, broad range. So a lot of these things that you use, they knock out, like you might think, I'm going to get rid of this one. They're just knocking out everything else. That's the worst bit about it. But it is safer than using synthetic or produced pesticides, chemical pesticides. Well, these are chemicals, they still got chemicals in them. That's the active ingredient. That's the plant, or chrysanthemum, pyrethrum, the Dera species, rotenone, nicotine, tobacco. Isn't it amazing that that's highly toxic to insects? But botanical pesticides are generally highly biodegradable, so that they become inactive within a few hours or a few days. And that reduces the negative impact on beneficial organisms. So it's all about trying to retain them. And they are environmentally safe compared to the chemical pesticides. Commonly used. Let's get to mustard. Just know what they are. Bio-fertilizers, no, it's still on there. Neem, pyrethrum, rotenone, tobacco. Alright, that looks like it might be it. Tillage, planting techniques, nutrient management, it's always good fun. I think that's it in this course anyway. Disease management. Climate policy. Some diseases. Might be under diseases. Fire control again. No, none of them used. No. These botanical pesticides. Okay, we'll go again. I'm not going to read it all. You can pause that if you wish and read it yourself later. I think that's about it. Gets into quality now and to animal welfare. Yeah, meat. That's it. That was an article on Builder Soil site. Oh, okay, that's good. Builder Soil. Sweet. Isn't that Pat? Good old bicycle man. Raptor says, be careful with pyrethrum when it's inhaled or ingested. Gee whiz, my mouse is moving. I'll start again. Raptor says, be careful with pyrethrum when it's inhaled or ingested. It's unsafe for humans. Oh, really? Yes. A lot of that stuff is. When you're playing around with the bios, things are, Bacillus cereus and Bacillus ligoniformis, they're two commonly used agricultural bacteria that can cause food poisoning and problems with the human stomach. So did you know that Bacillus subtilis is actually in humans? It's beneficial, which is pretty interesting because it does a lot of things for agriculture as well. But a lot of playing around with those things should be considered as toxic, and you don't want to introduce stuff that you don't know what it does to your body. So I always go downwind, upwind, and make sure that when I'm doing things like that, I clean up well and only use certain buckets or scoops or things like that, and I'll only use those ones the same time over and over. Like I won't use dish rags that are for the sink that I'll wipe up the mess with afterwards, because you don't want to introduce something new. You don't want to be a guinea pig for something that might be good, but it might be bad. And if it's up to me, I don't want to take that risk. Playing around with all of this stuff, it improves the soil and the plant's health and that sort of stuff, and I don't want it to mess with my health. So good on you, Raptor, for making the safety side of things too. So it's something that I'm quite strong on, the safety aspect. It's too easy to put a mask, one of those face masks that we've all got now from COVID times, to do different things. If you haven't got gloves, you can put long sleeves on and pull down your shirt a bit more. If you haven't got any gloves, it's hard to go and spend money, because especially those disposable gloves, don't use them. You get the cloth gloves. That's the best thing. I buy them in packs of 10. Anyway, good on you for the safety stuff. What else can we talk about? What else would you like me to discuss, Raptor or anybody else listening, while we're into the cover crops, which is really good? What about some mulch? Does anybody want to know about mulch, about plastic mulch possibly? I can run through a few slides on that, just to cover the whole top of the soil or your substrate. This mulch covers anything. It stops water, retains water, stops dust and all those bad things transferring in or unwanted. But yeah, let me know what I can just talk about now. Or if there's nothing going to come through in the next couple of minutes, you know what'll happen. Raptor says, yes, let's see some slides, please. Of what? What would you like to see, mate? Of some mulch? All right, that's what I asked, and that's what he said, yes. So I'm just going to assume it's mulch. So I'm going to go back to that one I was showing before. Organic farming, I think, was one of the better ones. Actually, no, great. Mulch. I think there's other ones that are better. Actually, there's one. So I'll go into the soil science one, which is fantastic. I love that class. That's one of the Professor Chakraborty was one of the best women teachers. He's done about 4 of them too. I think this is the latest one he's done. So mulch, testing fertility. Here we go. Organic manures, no. Slurries, ferts, no. Biochar, bio-fertilizers, mulching. That's the topic we want. Let's see here. Every one of these will be fantastic and very informative. This course, I should have shown him, he's rad. And his accent, he says, oh, he's funny when he says his accent. Anyway, crop nutrition through bio-fertilizer technology. No, I'm going to get to mulching, so I'm not going to go through all these type. These need a vacuum for cropping. I use that one. So obviously, is the dominant inhabitant of arable soils, fixing 2 to 15 milligrams of nitrogen per gram. It's fantastic. It's nitrogen. Anyway, it's nitrogen fixing bacteria, just like Azospirillum is. I was looking for him. There he is. Hello, Chakraborty. See, every one of these slides is fantastic. I should just open it up on some of these if I'm a bit not scared, short of doing stuff. Actually, that's what I'm going to. Please remind me of that, because any one of these week's lectures is fantastic. Like, he puts some effort into these slides, and they're very. You can rely on them. Like this, the types. Actually, I'm going to get to the. I'm going to start. I'll get to the mulch. Otherwise, I'm going to really start getting excited on that. Biochar, no. Compost, no. Mulching, an effective tool for modifying soil environment. And see in the picture, they got plastic mulch there, and on the left, they've got organic mulch. So either or. So mulch is any material other than soil placed and left in the soil surface for soil and water management. Mulches are materials placed over the soil surface to maintain moisture and improve the soil condition. So you could even say a cover crop is a kind of a mulch, if you can maintain it. So what is it? In agriculture and gardening, mulching is the practice of leaving crop residues and other materials on the soil surface. Soil surface. I'm not going to read all the words for them all. So what does mulches really do? They reduce soil evaporation. They conserve soil moisture. So just those two things in summer. So if you're struggling in summer, where's your mulch? They also suppress weed growth, which is a must if you've got field growing. Controls soil. Stop it. Sorry, it's windy. Controls soil structure and temperature. Controls soil erosion. Improves soil aeration. And influences soil microbes. Anything I can add to that? Mulch tilling is also a form of minimum tillage. It is cost-effective alternative for high-yield conservation agricultural practices. And this is how it works. So on the left is an example of mulching, and on the right is an example of not doing it. So you can see heat builds up quite fast, and then it'll go through and dry everything out, and it's not good. Where here you want to maintain it, so it builds and it gets used to it, so it maintains this nice heat, because it should be keeping it a bit hotter at night for if the night temperature gets cooler, as an example. Here the rain doesn't splatter and erode, cause erosion, and move all your nice O layer up the top of the O and A layer horizons, moving away where it contains all your goodness. And it also breaks down into be food for your microbes underneath. There you go, win-win. So what sort of mulches can you use? You can use organic material, inorganic, or specific gravel, concrete, as you see in cities these days, or plastic. So some types of organics that they might use: grass clippings, leaves, hay, straw, shredded bark, whole bark, husk, paper, animal waste, cover crop. Organic mulches are temporary and they decay over time. It's the best bit about it. The thing, if you're going to also use the mulch, I suppose it's, if you're building it up thick, like you might put, say that layer in there is quite thick, might be a foot even. Put down the greener stuff on the bottom before the browner stuff on the top. So if it is the microbes are to get rid of the nitrogen out of it, it doesn't erode volatiles off into the atmosphere. It'll be retained into the above layers of the browner mulch. Some inorganic forms are always synthetic sources, like plastic bags, film, nylon sheets, as you can see in the photos here. Pretty cool. So I'll be using some plastic stuff for some garlic. So what are the methods of mulching? Flat mulching, plastic mulching with holes, ridge shape mulching, or furrow mulching. So the ridge will be on the top and the furrows will be in the bottom with the gullies. And then plastic with holes, is they got holes punched in them, so you can push, for instance, like garlic. You might want to put them all, so when people plant them, you've got your drip lines underneath or your subsurface irrigation lines underneath, then your plastic over top, and you put the holes in it, and you can plant easy. Or just flat mulching, which is the traditional method of mulching, in which the soil surface is covered by organic, inorganic, or mixed mulching material. Some mulching methods: ridge and furrow. It just shows the ridge and the furrows, so it just depends where you want to put it, or a mixture of both. Rock density and soil porosity. So this goes into it pretty heavily. I don't really want to go through this. It goes through. I don't want to go through it. Different types of material used as mulches and different outcomes at different layers. So if you were to go through, I'm not going to go through it, so it'll take a while. Relationship between soil bulk density, total porosity, and mulching rate. So this is pretty interesting. So if you mulch too heavy, you're going to get too much. Well, let's see what happens. Which one's the mulch? So mulch rate. So on the x-axis, we've got a mulch rate on megagrams per hectare. So as it goes up, it's higher. This 0 is the porosity, so the pore spaces, and the coloured one in is bulk density, so it's how compacted it is. So as you go up to it, you reach a level in the middle on when you're going to start and do worse effects. So you're actually going to block off the air and create an anaerobic environment. And also you're going to bulk it down too much, so it's actually going to compact the top layer, not allowing the roots aeration as well. So consider that. But you have to put a fair bit, so that's why they only say do a few inches. But there are situations where you might want to do it a little bit higher, but that's the thing you've got to consider. Then soil temperature. How does it fluctuate? So at different depths are these lines here. I know the lines are the different material use, and the x-axis is the timeline, the y-axis is the temperature scale, Celsius. So you can see from different mulches, organic mulches that you're going to put on top, how does it affect temperature? This is your answer. Oh, sorry, there's plastic. So there's actually inorganic as well. So by putting plastic, air temperature is the thick black line. So which one is more stable is the ... which is the paper is more stable. Isn't that fascinating? Paper. Remember, if you're going to use paper, you've got to use not newspaper because it's got ink in it, and the ink has heavy metals in it, and that can pollute your soil. So the next one up is a bigger dots with this black thing in it. Plastic hole. Okay. Oh, no, it's the round one. Where's the square one? Oh, it's plastic. Fair income. So I don't support really the bottom one because it's hard for us to get a lot of paper that's not polluted or have ink in it. So plastic, which is what I'm going to use. Next one up is the dot, which is the plastic holes, a little bit better. And this straight bare line, triangle, bare. Okay, so that's the control, the bare. So if you put, what's the dot then? Straw. Look at the straw up here. When the temperature, it goes around, it's the same as bare. So it doesn't do much in temperature relation. And the last one is grass. So grass, it fluctuates too much. It's a very interesting chart. I wonder if there's any questions. Oh, fair income, my opinion. All right, I'm going to go back to that. Is it this one? Oh, yeah. Let's see slides. Lene says, plastic mulch. I don't know about plastic, especially under hot sunshine. Yeah. I agree. There could be some bad scenarios for that. Might get too hot, eh? Raptor says, is mycorrhiza beneficial to 90-day annual crops? In 90 days, enough time for colonisation and symbiosis benefits to be used? Is mycorrhiza beneficial to 90-day annual crops? Well, it's beneficial, yes. It extends the root zone because they grows a lot faster than the roots. So you can say that fungi that's down there, the articular mycorrhizae, is extending the roots of your plants. So it's beneficial anytime. So yes. Is 90 days enough time? Oh, second question, is 90 days enough time for colonisation? Yes, it'll colonise if it's given its right conditions. Those spores should, in the right humidity, they will cause them to germinate. Right temperature and humidity, they'll cause them to germinate. And then it's got to be maintained. So is that right temperature and humidity maintained so it can get established? So you can answer that question yourself. Are you putting your areas where you're speaking of under those conditions? So if you want to colonise, you might want to keep it a little bit wet for the first 2 or 3 weeks, especially if you're getting extra hot temperatures and your mulching isn't to the best. Yes, solarization. That's right. It can be used to kill weeds too. So if you've got a big patch of weeds and you want to do it organically, that's called solarization. Well said, Raptor. Raptor says, I wish they used cardboard in that study. I suppose it would be similar to results of paper. I agree. Yes, I agree. And remember on your cardboard too, there's a lot of plastics that they've got on them, because I always pull my plastics off. And they've just used a lot of sticky tape and packing tape. I'm still sharing the screen. Okay, back to the mulch to finish this soil moisture. All right, the last one was temperature. Let's go through moisture on mulch. X-axis, dates, y-axis, moisture levels. So rainfall. So it's rained here, which is these big squares, went down, then rain. Okay. So what's retained the highest? So this with the squares. Plastic again. Look at that. Plastic is winning again. Who would have thought plastic wins for once? Okay. Studies tell the results. What's the worst with the round hole? Plastic holes. Really? It's even worse than bare. That's pretty interesting, because I'll be putting holes in my garlic. So it's bad for retaining moisture. Well, that's why I've got subsurface. So I'm going to put some extra soil moisture meters in. So it tells me. Next slide. Soil moisture variation under different mulching rates. So the mulch rate is down the bottom. The field capacity, all the moisture is on the y-axis. So it tops out. Again, remember before how it was with bulk density? It was going down over here, and here it keeps going up. So why are they different? They are this variation of field capacity, moisture content, and the variation of available water capacity. Okay, so it's one. Field capacity is when it's reached its peak, is when water would start to run off if you're adding it, and the available water is how much water is available. All right, that's not really good. So much variation. Crusting and sealing. No, not going to read those. Soil aeration. Know about that. This is pretty interesting. Very high levels of CO2 buildup takes place under the plastic, because CO2 is a way of, if you're into organic farming, you'll have a high amount of CO2, because that's what bacteria respire. And fungus was, well, actually, no, they don't. So that's a way of measuring your bacteria level or your microbe level that's underneath in your substrates, is from doing a sealed bag CO2 test. So it's just an interesting thing. So maybe having the holes might help that as well. The gas exchange, which is extremely important. Responsive soil pH for different mulches at different depths. Mulch control irrigation. It's the pH. Well, that's pretty broad. Where's control? This is control. Because you don't know what type of mulch is. You could use wood chippings, which is very acidic, or you could use alfalfa, which has a pH of 8. So I don't like that one. Response to the soil EC, or the salts decicine, it's the salt level from mulch. So again, how it's hard to say what the control that they're using. I'm not going to go through that. Response and total nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium in the soil mulch for different soil depths. This might be all right. With mulch, without mulch, what's the type of mulch they use though? It'd be good to know too. So everything's going to be it'll be better with mulching because you're giving it something, unless it's plastic. So yeah, it'd be good to see if this is a plastic test. Because they're all going to, I think this is that'd be an organic. Microbial biomass, carbon, and microbial biomass, nitrogen, A, and dehydrogenase activity and urease activity in different mulch treatments. Okay. I'm not going to go through that, it's too technical. Does mulching have any negative impact? Well, yeah, mulching does have advantages and some disadvantages. The major negative impact is the use of plastic and how it's handled, because plastic's only good for maybe 5 years most if you want to reuse it, and some farmers just do it every year. The plastic film reduces soil porosity and hence air circulation, changes microbial communities and leads to low soil fertility used regularly. The plastic film mulching significantly reduces soil organic matter and greatly increases greenhouse gas emissions from poor gas exchange. They promote soil degradation, cause soil water repellency, and occur as potential pollutants. So yeah, the soil organic matter, because you're not adding back to it. So if you had normal things on the top like organic, you're putting material organic matter back in. So it's helping cycle and feed things. So it's a big negative. Organic mulching, such as wood chips, bark, may add as soil acidifiers. Too much mulch can lead to excessive and bad problems, fungal problems. Carbon rich, such as straw and stalks, can leach nitrogen from the soil and cause microbe problems. Thus, nitrogen may be temporarily not available for plant growth. So you do have to do it in a way where it does benefit the area. And there's some positives. There's a lot of positives, as we've sort of already been through. I'm not going to read all of those. There's some references. Oh, that's rad. I'll try to source that. Nano-urea liquid. It's in nanotechnology and agricultural class. It was fantastic. It's only from India. They've got a patent on it too. It's just brilliant. You can spray it on. It's nano in size, so it gets in everywhere. It's just rad. Anyway, we're talking about mulch. Renee says, plastic leaches its toxins under heat though. It can. Yeah. It's hopefully that it would have leached out enough from, you get different micron sizes in agriculture, and the thicker builder stuff, landscape stuff that stops roots, when you're going to do agricultural retaining walls or stuff, they might do that. But I think for the agricultural, when you're doing crops, it's a lot thinner, so it doesn't leach out as much. But you make a very good point. Plastic mulch, Renee says, can leach toxic chemicals into the soil and environment, including phthalate acid esters, PAEs, and acetyl tribute citrates. Yes. Yep, it's bad. And then what about when they've got to go and get rid of it? It's going to have to be sitting under the ground, releasing all those chemicals, waiting for microbes to get rid of it. So that's a bad environmental problem with plastic. Good point. Thank you. Yes, because I'm all about sustainability. We've got to protect the earth that protects us. Don't want to be like those countries that have gone and just polluted it so much. China, all the groundwater in the USA, 98% of that's polluted. Just, it's really hard to filter things out. It's not a quick fix with the earth. So we've got to do it individually. Yes. Renee says. Yes, the plastic can be good and bad, but it's better than nothing. If you get it in a thin way and reuse it as many times as you can, I think you're doing your best for the area. Otherwise, you'd be introducing weeds that are invasive species. So the invasive species really take off, and they usually take off in soil that's a bit depleted and lower pH. So after a crop's been through and added all of its protons or its hydrogen ions, atoms to the soil that it's exchanged through its exudates, that's lowered the pH, and therefore all the bad, obnoxious, bad toxic weeds will take on. Not toxic. What's that word? I already said obnoxious. Invasive. The invasive species ones. So they're good for the area, but all they do is they're just hard to get rid of because they take off and thrive. Lene says, yes, exactly. Raptor says, I've been liking alfalfa as my cover crop. I do chop and drop. Yeah. And it gets used as a mulch. All right. Have a look at sun hemp. Here's a bit of a secret for you. I'll just show you. SUNNHEMP. It's a legume. So I'll share my screen here. This is a secret. This is rad. So I've been looking at this through my studies and what's the best one to use and to. So now we're at the end of the show. A lot of people wouldn't watch. There's 3 people watching. Here's a good secret. Crotalaria junicea, or commonly known sun hemp, is a multi-purpose traditional subtropical legume grown in many countries, notably India, where I studied. That's how I got onto it. But it produces in 50 days, this is the rad bit about it, in 50 days, it'll be 6 foot tall. In 90 days, it's 9 foot tall. But from the studies shown, after 50 days, you chop it and mulch it in, till it in, and it can create, oh geez, no, I've got a chart somewhere. There it is. Sun hemp, there it is. In 50 days, it produces 134 kilos, or about 280 pounds per hectare, or that's about, say, 150 pounds per acre of nitrogen is supplied. So if you grow this like that, till it in, that's going to give me twice as much nitrogen as I need for a garlic crop. Figure that out. So I don't have to put any type of inputs in, just got to do this type of rotational crop. And then till it. So once it gets 6 foot high, chop it, till it, and then it'll go through in the substrate in the soil, sit there, and instead of getting released back into the volatiles in the atmosphere, it gets released into the soil, sitting there, waiting for microbes to make it available to the plant's roots. Sun hemp. And you can inoculate the seeds if you really want with rhizobium for extra bonus growth. There's a little secret because you're being really cool. Yes, forever chemicals. We want the ones that are organic so they can cycle forever for us by microbes. So if we use sun hemp, you can let it go to seed, or even grab some seed. Let's do one area where you let that go to seed and save the seeds for next season. So you're doing your heirloom. So you'll have inoculated those with your bio-pesticides, the fertilizers. So they'll have some endophytes in them that are very beneficial, and they'll be kept in the seed. So when you re-inoculate, when you grow them next year, it's just forever. So that's one way with organics how you can make it forever. You use your heirloom seeds, and you get your bios working for you and your substrates. And all you need is water then, cleanish water. Yeah, it's fantastic. This organic stuff. Just having a good understanding of it is quite difficult, but that's why I'm here, because I can shed some light and see what my opinions are, or see what the latest science says about it too, because science is always changing. It's the best bit about science. All right, we've been an hour. I really appreciate everybody for contributing. It was excellent. Another really great show today. I do like organics and microbes. I think that's the future. So the more we can understand it and do experiments now and find out what's the best stuff, the more we'll be able to capitalize and have good knowledge down the track. So I'll be doing this again next week. As usual, same time next week. So I hope you're listening, and you who have enjoyed even more so can come do the same thing again. So I appreciate it. I do. You've made the show. You few in chat made the show, because without yous, there wouldn't have been a show. It would have stopped an hour ago. So thank you. That's why I'm not going to say it. Good on yous. All right, thanks everyone for listening. Happy breeding, happy growing, and good health to you all. Bye-bye.